What's going on, everybody? Dr. Vasquez here, chewing gum, and coming to you with the second video of today to explain a problem that I just discovered with Nietzsche. So I've discovered through 20 years of meticulous research that the problem with Nietzsche is Walter Kaufman. A lot of the major interpretations of Nietzsche have come through Walter Kaufman, but he's just so damn boring I can't stand it anymore. And he kind of played his cards here in this 1956 edition where he says, I don't agree with him. He says, I still do not agree with him. And when he said that, Kaufman basically admitted that he didn't even understand what he was reading. So, like, to say about Nietzsche's philosophy that I don't agree with him, like, what are you saying? Well, like, what part do you not agree with? The part that he says we should all live like artists and make life beautiful? What is there? Who's going to disagree with that? So, eventually, I realized. I don't know why that's there. Eventually, I realized I just had to give up on Walter Kaufman. He is probably the most famous translator and interpreter of Nietzsche, but including, for example, the version of Thus Spake Zarathustra that I read when I was about 24 years old. So I said recently that I was going to reread that book and provide kind of an interpretation of it. But I decided to start from scratch with a new version of the book, but this one was translated by R.J. Hollingdale. I think it's R.J. Yeah, R.J. Hollingdale. So same book, but a different translation by a different author. So Hollingdale wasn't, in the academic world, he wasn't even degreed. I think he graduated from like a grammar school, which would be the equivalent of like an American high school. But he is a well-respected Nietzsche scholar, and he translated others' works from other people as well. But Hollingdale is much easier to read, and in my opinion, more accurate than Mr. PhD Princeton professor Walter Kaufman, who he just doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. So he translates the books, but he himself admits that he doesn't even understand what he's reading. And so that's why I had to give up on him. So I have another edition or a summary version. It's a Nietzsche, a portable Nietzsche, I think it's called. And I was going to start reading that, but first of all, the pages are too thin, the paper's too thin, and that makes the book impossible to highlight. But second of all, again, it was by Kaufman, and he doesn't get it. He doesn't understand Nietzsche. Hollingdale did a much better job of understanding Nietzsche from a social perspective, not simply a linguistic perspective. So I am going to read this book. I might even read it out loud to kind of provide like an audiobook experience, so to speak, with my interpretations. I've already said that the best reading, even though it's an abridged version, but the best reading of Thus Spoke Zarathustra that exists in the world, as far as I can tell, was done by a company called Naxos. They produced an audiobook version of Thus Spoke Zarathustra. I think they were probably using the Hollingdale translation because it flows better. Kaufman is he's dry as a cracker. He's just too boring. Hollingdale actually understood what he was reading. So anyway, that's my quick update on Nietzsche and the subtle differences between different translators and interpreters of Nietzsche. Is Kaufman the best published and the most popular? Yeah, he is, but he just sucks, and I can't stand his work anymore, basically. So I'm going back to a different version. I'll read this, and maybe I'll read it out loud and give you my interpretation of it as I go. But anyway, that's an update. Take care. Bye.